meeting of the Township Committee September 6, 2016. Notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Star Ledger, the Independent, and the True Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building, and filing with the Township Clerk all on January 7, 2016. Committeeman Massell.
Here.
Committeewoman Murray.
Here.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Fiore.
Here.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Here.
Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor our troops serving worldwide, defending our constitutions, freedoms, and way of life. Thank you. Our known action items for tonight, we have a public hearing of proposed ordinances. Ordinance 2016-3179, an ordinance authorizing lease agreement with Middletown Emergency Medical Services.
Are there any members of the public who would like to speak to ordinance number 2016-3179? Maureen, did you check the back there?
No, there.
Hi, my name's Don Watson, 1 Collinson Drive. I was just wondering about this agreement here, whether this Middletown Emergency Medical Service takes precedence over our volunteer group?
The way it works is that they will have a specific time of day, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. basically, that they will be the primary responders, and the volunteers will be the backup to them.
I see.
Outside of those times, then the volunteer services will continue the way they are now.
That way they're not both going on the same calls?
They will not go on the same calls.
Yeah, very good.
And all the volunteer departments have, as does the township, agreements with Middletown Emergency Medical Services, so they're all participating in this new structure.
Right. All right, I was just wondering how that worked. Yeah. And is there any other facility or group going to be at Penelope Lane besides them? Or are they going to occupy the whole house?
Well, I mean, we use a little bit of the upstairs for storage of some other things, but basically they're going to be the only user in the building.
Cool. All right, thank you.
This was also born from the idea from the first aid squads.
Yeah, that's our idea.
Yeah, I was just curious. Thank you.
Okay, I have to ask, are there any other members of the public who would like to speak to ordinance number 2016-3179? Seeing no further members of the public come forward, we'll close the public portion and move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Massell.
Yes.
Committeewoman Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fiore.
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt this ordinance on second and final reading. This time we have ordinance for introduction, 2016-3181, an ordinance authorizing the vacation of a portion of Atlantic Avenue within the Township of Middletown, Monmouth County, New Jersey.
Move for introduction.
Second.
Committeeman Massell.
Yes.
Committeewoman Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fiore.
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held October 3rd, 2016.
Also, just so you're aware, that is listed on the agenda as a discussion item, but we had it listed in case there were questions. That we weren't sure if we were going to have all the information when we were putting the agenda together last week, so we don't need to discuss it now.
At this time, I'd like to ask the Township Committee if you would like to adopt the consent agenda, which would include resolutions 16-209 through 16-216, including approval of minutes.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Massell.
Yes.
Committeewoman Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fiore.
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt the consent agenda. At this time, we have the report of Township Chief Financial Officer as to the award of note.
Okay, in accordance with provisions of local bond law relating to the sale of bond anticipation notes, Series 2016A, I hereby report to the Township Committee the result of the sale of bond anticipation note series 2016A of the Township of Middletown in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey. I received bids for the purchase of the note and awarded the note on August 4th, 2016, and hereby report to the Township Committee as follows. Principal amount of note was $9,452,379. The interest rate was 1.5%. The date of maturity is January 27th, 2017. The purchase price received is $9,483,006. The purchaser was Jeffries. The settlement date was August 11th.
For the regular meeting agenda for September 19th, we'll have the certificate of appreciation proclamations, approval of minutes, public hearing of proposed ordinance, and introduction of proposed ordinances. For discussion item tonight, we have a grant, the LED lighting for library.
The library is looking to, if you remember the direct install program that the township was involved in a few years ago, which changed all the lighting. That program is now still around, and I guess the library is looking to make an application to that program to replace the lighting in their building.
So, that makes sense. So, while on that same different note, speaking as somebody who's in the lighting business, I know we're looking, and we just passed on the consent agenda, the grant application for Lotswell Field, but can we look into further potential grants or rebate programs for potential LED lighting? Because I hear that LED lighting for sports fields, I mean, apparently there's a big rebate or grant program that can significantly impact the cost to significant levels, according to a pretty familiar source of the business.
We can check
Also,
the,
Deputy Fire Chief.
we can check the, with the options out there, maybe we can
Please.
make that part of our grant application.
Because I think there seems to be a lot of incentives for LED lighting.
Okay.
But that direct install is replacement, is one-for-one.
Right, that's a whole different thing, but you know, I'm saying if there's gonna be massive rebates, we shouldn't miss them if we're gonna put lights on.
Okay, our next item are the library benches.
So, you know, in accordance with our new policy, as you know, the library already has a couple of benches and things in their garden named for people, but we have the policy now that anything that's going to be named after it has to come to the township committee. So there was a Mr. Karamis that was apparently a good friend of the library's, who their family wanted to donate a bench and just place it there with his name on it. So unless anyone has an objection, you know, I think the library board's already done a resolution approving it. So.
Then we have the amendment to the Middletown Senior Citizens Housing Court bylaws.
So we got a request from council for the authority or the court, the housing court, for an amendment to affect both reduce the number of their meetings from 8 to 4 a year, and regarding the resident members, as there are no residents right now, as the new facilities being
This
constructed.
is a Bayshore Village.
Bayshore Village, yeah. So according to their bylaws, and we've done this once or twice before, where there's been a recommended change to their bylaws, the governing body has to consent to those changes. I haven't had any discussions in particular with, the basis for these other, but it was represented in a brief letter, I don't know.
Well, I think that
During
during the construction, until it's reoccupied, it makes no sense for them to have 8 meetings a year, number one. And it also makes it impossible to have a resident member, because there are no residents.
Yeah.
So I suspect what they'll probably do is when the building is complete or near completion, they'll probably do another set of bylaws for the new development, and it'll be a whole different set. It's just, the old bylaws don't make any sense while it's under construction. They're bound to have 8 meetings, and they have no reason to have 8 meetings, so they just want to change them. I would anticipate it's temporary. while the building's being rebuilt.
So if there's any, questions or anything, let me know. I can reach out to their council and ask them, and if not, then we can put this on for the next meeting agenda. Just be a resolution.
Okay, we have the firearms discharge ordinance.
Who's this?
This came up from Chief Weber. Apparently, it's either last week or the week before, the police department got a phone call about someone hearing gunshots. When they went to investigate it, they found that a resident had built what is essentially a shooting range in an accessory building, like a garage that they converted. And they were basically, they called me and, well, what do we do? Because we don't really have a specific ordinance about it. I said, well, look, a shooting range is not a permitted use in a residential zone. So from a zoning standpoint, we could tell them no. But I don't think that's really good enough. And many towns have specific ordinances about, discharge of firearms on property. We don't want people trying to convert their garage into a shooting range. Even though apparently the guy did it pretty professionally, like it's bulletproof on the inside. Because we were concerned about, a stray shot goes through the wall.
It doesn't matter, it's not a permit.
No, I know that.
It's
But
private property, a legally owned firearm, but it's not a use that would be normally permitted in the...
But there are, several towns around have specific ordinances making it a, prohibited activity on residential property. Outside of hunting, where hunting is permitted, and there's even rules about that. You have to be so many, I think it's 1,000 feet away from a house. From a house, I think it is. So we're just going to draft an ordinance that we could adopt to make it clearer that it's not something you're permitted to do. It's amazing that you have to do an ordinance for something like that.
It's going to talk about the caliber of the weapon.
No, we're not going to get to that. And it's handgun. You can't hunt with a handgun.
I just don't understand, it seems to me that this is duplicitous, because you're telling me that by zoning standards, you can't do this, which means it's a non-permitted use. What do we need this ordinance?
Well, the only thing is, then you can get somebody, first of all, zoning ordinance, someone can challenge it, someone can go to the zoning board and ask to do it, to get a variance to do it. If you have a specific ordinance that's saying, not a zoning ordinance, a municipal ordinance saying you can't do it, there's no appeal, there's no...
Penalty if you don't do it.
Yeah, there are
in
penalties.
municipal court rather than...
It's a little tighter than relying on
You're
zoning.
not going to like the construction board of appeals or zoning board or,
Well, the zoning just lists the use that you can,
Yeah.
that are permitted, it doesn't say.
It doesn't list it as a prohibited use, but we always take the position it's not listed as permitted, it's
That's
prohibited.
strictly residential.
I just think...
So if somebody shot an intruder or something, are they gonna get a ticket?
No, the ordinance is
for
very
discharging
specific
firearms?
about, it doesn't apply to,
If you had
it doesn't apply to self-defense, it doesn't apply to protecting your property or anything. When you see the ordinance, you'll see it's very clear that you can certainly have a gun in your home, you can certainly use it in a legal way. You just can't use it for you can't do target shooting on your property. Yeah.
Now, what's going to be considered a firearm? Is a BB gun going to be considered a firearm?
I have to find it, but that's a rifle, typically, right?
No.
Well, I guess you could have handguns that are BB guns.
Your air,
Yeah, I'll clarify.
I know
that.
they're regulated to the point
Yeah.
of whatever they're illegal or not, or whatever, I don't know if they're legal or illegal, I don't have any in New Jersey, but, I mean, that's a
Yeah.
firearm. It's considered a firearm.
Yeah, it is, sure, for sure. I'd have to check the chief to see how.
There was that actor
in
that-
the ordinance.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I think we need a little, I think we need a little clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll send you a draft of the ordinance, and I think when you read the ordinances, they're pretty clear as to what you can and can't do, and I think it makes just common sense. So I just want to mention that, because the resident was particularly happy that he was told he couldn't do it, by the way, so he's not a happy man. He thinks.
May I ask where, in which section of
just
the
gonna
property?
ask,
Was it like
how
in
close are the
Chapel Hill where
properties?
there's like 50 acres that
No,
guys
it was
own?
not. No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
Don't tell me it's like North Middletown.
No, it was not there either. No, it was actually a property on Swimming River Road. A resident, not a big, probably a little bit bigger than the neighbors' properties, but not a big property by any means. Just a regular
Are
residential
there
property.
neighbors close by?
Neighbor heard
Yeah.
it, so, yeah, oh yeah,
the
the neighbors
neighbors
were
were
right.
called
Are there
in.
neighbors within gunshot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, it almost makes sense, because how do you know that he knows what he's doing when he's putting up a...
Well, that's the other thing, there's no standards,
Yeah.
we don't have any building code standards. Well, we do have building code standards for bulletproof things, but we don't necessarily want to be starting to permit those in that some doesn't build it right.
So this is
doesn't-
only in
It's a
the
residential zone,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
residential zone, it's not.
This is all this ordinance will.
Right, because if someone wanted to, an indoor
Right.
target shooting, that would be indoor recreation, which we do permit in commercial zones.
Yeah, somebody could build a rifle range, you know, if they
Someone
wanted
could
to,
buy
you
that,
know, I mean, they
piece
could
of that
buy a-
warehouse next to Kane's Lane
Yeah.
and put a shooting range.
But then that's gonna be designed properly, and the liability is gonna rest on the owner.
It'll be in the right
They'll
zone.
be insured, and,
It'll be
yeah.
zoned.
Now we have township committee comments?
Just one other thing, Heidi, real quick. I just want to let the committee know, I hate to bring this up, everybody's probably already depressed about the end of summer and school, but the snow plowing contract is expiring at the end of the year.
Township committee comment.
Yeah. So we're gonna be going out to bid for the new snow plowing contract probably next couple of weeks. Don't think about snow anymore, that's it.
Let's hope the snowstorms are like the hurricanes.
Yeah, so,
No
We
shows.
hear about them.
no shows, that's right. That's all.
Mr. Vasil, what do you say?
Thank you. No, I'm going to save my comments for our regular meeting. Thanks.
Mayor Armstrong.
I have nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
I have nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
I'm good.
Okay. All right, make it 5 in a row.
Okay,
Yeah.
public comments?
Any public comments? Who should I? All right.
Some guy in the hall out there. Yeah, hi, my name's Don Watson, 1 Collinson Drive. I was just was wondering why we would offer a summer camp program in town here and not be able to administer an EpiPen to an attendee if it was required.
Well, I think it's really a liability thing. I mean, we don't have the, you know, there are trained people who administer EpiPens, or parents will administer EpiPens to their children, but we don't want camp counselors responsible to administer EpiPens. So we keep them on site if somebody has one, and if there's somebody there who's trained to do it, then they can administer it, but if there's not somebody trained there, they can't.
Okay, well, the instructions are right on the pen. I know recently there's been some coverage in the news about it, and I've noticed that there are instructions right on the pen itself on how to administer it. And it's more or less just stick it into some
Well,
flesh.
if the kids are, if the campers are old enough to self-administer it, then they can do that.
I'd also notate their instructions on AED defibrillators, but you need to be trained and certified.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't want the counselors being responsible to administer, something like that. Most times we, at our summer camp at Croydon Hall, most times we have somebody on staff who is qualified to do it. And if they're there, they'll administer it.
All right, great. Thank you.
And that applies to other medications too.
Yeah.
You know, some kids come with medications, and some
Right.
things we can administer and some things we can't.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that's gonna be all public comment. So, any further public comment? We close the public portion and we adjourn.
Committeeman Michelle.
Yes.
Committeewoman Murray. Yes. Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hulett.
Yep.
Mayor Schaffner.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.